गणाधिपतये नमः। ओम श्री महासरस्वत्यै नमः। ओम श्री दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः. I am Acharya G.V. Krishnamurthy from College of KP Astrology, Padmarao Nagar, Hyderabad. Today we are covering one important subject in the video. First is what is Muhurta? What is electional astrology? And what is the relevance between the Muhurta and the moon sign and the natal chart of a particular person? And what next is what is the importance of a Muhurta? Finally, will the auspicious Muhurta change the route of a native in his life? Then afterwards we will do some examples. One example from the marriage, how the marriage has failed because of the inauspicious Muhurta. And second one is why the first Prime Minister, Mr. Vajpayee, could not able to continue his term as a Prime Minister. Is it because of Muhurta? We will discuss these two cases as examples. Now let us start. What is Muhurta? What is election astrology? Election astrology is a practice that seeks to determine the most auspicious time to begin an event and to ensure a favorable outcome rather than waiting for a birth chart to determine the destiny of the native. Election astrology is also known as selective astrology or Muhurta astrology or event astrology in Vedic tradition. This analyzes astrological factors like planetary positions and cosmic energies to find the best moment for undertakings such as weddings, business launches, surgeries, etc. Unlike natal astrology, which looks at a birth chart, election astrology is a proactive tool used to align an action with favorable cosmic currents. Muhurta is an auspicious time selected to start a new work is called a Muhurta. It is an auspicious time selected for starting a new work is called a Muhurta. We all desire that a new venture should be started at such a time that it results more success and happiness. This is one of the important view of the persons. Then we use ephemeris, Panchanga, which gives the 5 limbs, Vivara, Nakshatra, Yoga, Karana, which have their effects on human beings and planets. The tides in the ocean too are caused due to the position of moon. This everybody knows. The 5 limbs are the results of different positions of the sun and moon. Every change in the position of the sun and moon and planets, such as rising, setting, conjunction, combustion, opposition, retrogression, etc., are caused different results. The astrological results are based on the above situations. The position of planets at the time of birth of the native indicates the future events to happen in his life. Further, The transit of planets from Lagna, the moon, and other planets become the cause of events to take place. The future events can be predicted on the basis of the transit of planets. The need to enjoy good results or bad results, or suffer bad results of the past karmas, like prarabdha karma. To get the best results or to mitigate the evil effects in the natal chart, or to start a new venture, a good muhurta should be selected. Wisdom demands work to be started only selecting an auspicious time. Man has been given free will, which is God's greatest gift to him, and therefore he can choose from the different options before him. Every action will be a reaction, and certainly the native will certainly reap the fruits of his actions. The science of Muhurta provided by the rishis can illuminate our path. Usually, the man wants quick results after starting a new venture. Kala or time is the creator of destiny. Time is also the carrier of fruits of destiny. The time when a life starts contains in the womb infinite information about the auspicious or inauspicious moments through which their life will progress before it meets in certain end. The time of commencement of life or the time of birth is not under the control of a person. Similarly, all the good or bad a person has to face just because his life is started at a particular time is not under his control. Like time of commencement of life, time of commencement of any activity will contain certain favorable and unfavorable promises for such activity. So, the study of Muhurta means it is a study of time of commencement of new activity. Then what is the literal meaning of Muhurta? Literally, Muhurta means a period of 2 gatis or 48 minutes. But the normal use, the actual use of Muhurta is a moment created by various positions of planets containing certain vibrations or certain promises for any action, process or life starting at that time. To study Muhurta is to study those effects and to decide the suitability or unsuitability of that moment first by particular action and then for a particular individual. It is a study of time in its various forms. More important being attached sun and moon and their relative positions. The variable muhurtas, ayana, month, nakshatra, tithi, vara, yoga, lagna, etc. are all based on the movements of sun and moon individually and in relation to each other. Other planets also play their role by their various positions. From user's point of view, Muhurta means a time which is auspicious for a particular activity. Then the next question is, what is the relevance of Muhurta in relation to natal chart or moon sign? When by taking both at a particular time, A person having his destiny fixed and areas of freedom restricted certainly raise a question about the sanctity of choosing a muhurta. The extent to which the choice of a proper time for commencement of an act is in the control of an individual, which is a point of debate. Relevance of muhurta can be seen in terms of self-created short-term destiny applicable to a specific aspect of life. This self-created short-term destiny will certainly have its say, provided it is put in harmony with the individual's long-term destiny, that is natal horoscope. Relevance of muhurta also lies in its being a means through which one can adapt to nature. Instead of going against the natural forces, it is better to begin when the cosmic power is favorable. Study of muhurta will help the astrologers in searching those favorable moments for the natives. A correctly cast horoscope can give a fair picture of native's whole life. Planetary position at the time of the birth indicates various propensities. This position cannot be changed. We can choose an auspicious muhurta for starting a new picture. For example, if the analysis of the horoscope indicates unhappy married life to a particular native, the marriage should take place at a time when the planetary position in transit is favorable and when the chart of that time shows happy married life. Further, if a native's married life may not be very happy as indicated in the natal chart, but if the horoscopes of both the husband and wife are matched properly and a very auspicious time is chosen for the ceremony, the problems can be considered to a large extent. It is found through the experience of astrologers that without God's grace, this too cannot be achieved. But a man must try his best. At the time of doom, the mind functions in reverse direction. If the native's time is not good, he will not listen to good counseling. A learned man will be very particular to marry his daughter at an auspicious time. But the bharat, the marriage position of the groom will take their own time, and the auspicious time for the marriage will be missing. The delay, even though the delay was natural, but instead of giving top priority to the muhurta, the time was wasted in dancing and drinking. Even in the olden days, Rishi Parasara has decided to carefully an auspicious muhurta for the marriage of his own daughters, who had widowhood yoga in her horoscope. If a work is noted at the right and auspicious time, it will be completed quickly and without much difficulty. If muhurta is correctly calculated and rightly made use of, the possibility of any obstruction gets eliminated. If due to paucity of time, the auspicious muhurta is not found, some remedial measures such as recitation of mantras or giving charities can be undertaken, and thus bills, if any, can be removed and good results can be achieved. To neutralize the effects of adverse loss in a horoscope, it is suggested to choose a good dasha and bhukti period, bhukti or antardasha period, and also favorable transit and an auspicious time. Good dasha, bhakti, period, favorable transit, and also auspicious time. And good yogas in the horoscope will definitely work at that time. Even then, if one does not succeed in getting happiness and success, then one has to remain content. Some dhrada karma or prarabdha karma cannot be changed. But in spite of it, if a person should make the best effort and use his intellect, sense of discrimination and wisdom, then definitely he will get the good, favorable freedom of action. For example, in a case of litigation, there are cases so many in lower courts. If anybody fails in the lower court, he will go on appeal to the higher court, high court. Even in the case of high court also, if it is agreed, if the person is aggrieved, then he will go to Supreme Court, and further, if necessary, he will submit a mercy petition to the President. Thereby, if we choose the auspicious time during this process, definitely there is a chance for changing the direction of the case litigation. Even otherwise, the whole process, including the efforts to fight the case, must take long period, and to be away from the sentences he has to get it at the end of the course. This example gives that auspicious time for Muhurta is very much needed, that will give the maximum solace or solace to some extent from the sufferings of the natal chart. Then finally, we have to understand what is the importance of the Muhurta. Muhurta is very much important and the branch of the astrology. Both the natal horoscope and personal horoscope or astrology are basically based on the concept of Muhurta. The position of planets in the orbit and their effect as a part of space can indicate type of events like birth or marriage to take place and their causes and effects. This all depends on Muhurta. This is what our ancient rishis told us, guided us. They found during a long experience, and if a person studies planetary position in advance and selects an auspicious timing, then things can be definitely improved. Astrology believes in the continuity of life. A man takes rebirth along with the balance sheet of his past deeds in the past births. In the present birth, he has to suffer the consequences of those deeds, either good or bad. With the free will that the person is involved with, he can change the results to large extent. Sometimes he may get success, sometimes may not. The inspiration or the mental inclination to do something intention or something to do worthwhile is also linked with samskaras of the past births. But gifted as he is with mind, intelligence and power of discrimination, along with freedom to choose his options, man should try his best to work hard with good intentions and leave the results in God's hands. For a good beginning, everybody has to choose a good Muhurta and invoke God's grace by way of tapa and worship. And it will as well reduce or it will try to reduce the bad effects of yantra, mantra and tantra. In this way, the Muhurta can help to large extent to the human beings, and this Muhurta astrology is totally beneficial. In the case of marriage, and the Muhurta, after marriage, a couple enters to family life and ability to pay up certain debts like Devarona, Matru Rona, Pitru Rona, Acharya Rona, etc. In a marriage, two souls get united to fulfill certain common debts, which in astrological parlance are termed as Runanubandhan. This result is certainly due to past birth completions. They are partners in giving birth to the progeny and bringing them up. A successful and happy marriage is based on matching of horoscopes of both bridegroom and bride. Afterwards, an appropriate auspicious time or muhurta for the wedding to be calculated. In this way, to start a work or to go and travel, to constructing a new house, or to housewarming of the new house, this wisdom of muhurta and fate of the person should be tested. People invariably admit the fact that all things happen the way they are destined. But still, the duty of the person, the duty of the person's dharma is to invariably and unfailingly use his intelligence while going into action for any purpose. No one can destroy a person whom God himself takes under his protection. This is true, but only when someone wants to harm him at a time when adversity falls as a result of bad deeds and actions of virtues. Then rituals are performed, mantras are recited, japas are done, donations are made as prescribed by our religious, great sages and masters. Man is free in his actions because he is having mind, intellect and power of discrimination and a great free will in his life. Therefore, each and everybody has to suffer the consequences of previous janma debts and try to do it happily and try to turn such suffering into some productive act. Man has certain limits due to his marks or previous births. They are Gunanabatas. Certain cases can be remedied, not at all. But most of the cases, the person follows proper muhurta and proper japa, etc. They will be able to revive the good benefits of the birth. Then we will take up some examples here. This is a chart of a person who has not followed the advice of the gurus, astrologers, and only married at an inauspicious time. This is Lagna is Pisces here. The person this is a marriage muhurta, 12th December 1993 at 13 hours in Secunderabad. The marriage was held in the Venus Lagna, the Meena Lagna, that is Pisces Lagna. Here, how the result of this person is, that we have to check up. how this Muhurta has helped or spoiled the native. Date of marriage is 12th February, 12th December 1993. Time is around 1 a.m. Place is Secunderabad. Day is Saturday. Tithi is Krishna Chaturdashi. Both moon and sun are in the Scorpio with 12 degrees apart. That is Krishna Chaturdashi. Tithi Chaturdashi. Nakshatra is moon in the Anuradha star. And Yoga is Sukarma. And Karna is Vishtikarna, Bhadra. Similarly, sun is in Jyeshta star, third pada. Moon is in Anuradha star. Mars is in Moola star. Mercury is Anuradha star. Jupiter in Swati star of Arudra. Swati star of Rahu. Venus in Jyeshta star. Saturn in Dhanu star. Rahu is Anuradha. Ketu is in Rohini. Tithi and day are highly malefic. Here, Krishna Chaturdashi, Bauda Chaturdashi, just 1 day before the Amavasya. So, Amavasya, just before 1 day before Amavasya, that is called 29th Tithi. That Tithi is really bad and malefic. And the day is Saturday. Saturday gives the bad results. Saturn is not suitable. We should not predict any Muhurta, we should not advise any Muhurta on a Saturday or connected to Saturn planet, either a sign lord or star lord or sub lord. So here Saturday is there. So Saturn comes as important, plays an important role here. Therefore, Tithi and day are highly malefic. But the only advantage here, little advantage is that together of Chaturdashi plus Saturn day gives benefit yoga called Siddhi Yoga. One yoga is there, Siddhi Yoga. Individually, both Saturday and also Chaturdashi gives bad results, but together they will give Siddhi Yoga. This Anuradha Nakshatra is a good nakshatra for marriage, but it is suffering from two serious defects in this case. It is suffering from Ritu Dosha due to placement of Rahu and Mercury also in the same nakshatra. A Rahu, Moon, Mercury are in Anuradha star. Venus, Sun in Jyeshta star, and all these planets are in Scorpio, which is in the 9th house from Lagna. So Anuradha nakshatra, even though it is good, but it suffers from serious defects, very serious defects. One is Ritu Dosha, because Ritu Dosha is due to placement of Rahu and Mercury in the same nakshatra. And the second dosha is 15 nakshatra from Anuradha is occupied by Ketu, thus causing Geometry dosha. Geometry means marriage. It is not good at all for marriage. The geometry dosha is there. So these two doshas are very serious doshas. Kriti and geometry dosha, caused by malefics, are specially considered most inauspicious for marriage. Moreover, Vishtikarna is called Bhadra. Bhadra was prevailing at the time of marriage. Bhadra is prevailing. It is showing the Patala Loka. Bhadra is showing as Patala Loka. And so Bhadra is not good now, and it spoiled the situation of the auspicious of the Muhurta. Then in marriage, Lagna is most important. Even in the Krishnamurti Bhakti Lagna, we have to consider Lagna. Lagna is very important. Lagna is placed in Pisces, and the lord of the sign is Jupiter. Jupiter, even though it is a benefic planet, it is placed in the 8th house. It is a Muhurta house. It is a death house. Jupiter placing in the 8th house of the marriage is not good at all. So, and Jupiter is in the Rahu star. Again Rahu, another malefic planet and a node. which is not advisable. Seventh house is aspected by Mars and seventh Lord Jupiter placed in debilitated Navamsha. In the Navamsha here in the right side, Jupiter is in the Capricorn. It is debilitated. Here with Navamsha chart also, Jupiter debilitation. So, seventh Lord Jupiter is placed in debilitated Navamsha, where the seventh house is very, very weak. So, Muhurta Lagna Lord is placed in close degrees with Rahu in third house. So, Muhurta Lagna Lord is placed to close degrees with Rahu in third house. Ketu is also in third house from Lagna. Moon is mainly moon reflecting mind of the person married and of the Muhurta Lagna. He is debilitated. He is in the Nicha in Scorpio sign, and Rahu is also Nicha debilitated because in some places Taurus is recorded as Ucha. In some places Gemini is recorded as Ucha. So in this case, when Taurus is Ucha and Rahu is Nicha here. Therefore, his Muhurta Lagna is very weak. And apart from that, if you take the longitude of the moon is in the Saturn star Anuradha, and Saturn Dasha is there at the time of the marriage chart. So Saturn is in the 12th house from Lagna. Saturn is a malefic planet which should not be connected at the time of Muhurta. But Saturn is the star lord of Lagna also, because Lagna is an Uttarabhadra star, and the star lord is Saturn. Saturn is in 12th house from Lagna, which is a malefic house. And Lagna sign lord is Jupiter. He is also in the 8th house, which is also malefic. So, 7th lord is Mercury. 7th lord is Mercury. Mercury is also in Saturn star. And most of the planets, Mercury, Moon, Rahu, are connected to Saturn, which is placed in 12th house. And apart from that, Saturn is aspecting Scorpio, Rahu, Moon, Mercury, Venus, and all these planets are in Scorpio. So Saturn with the 10th aspect is aspecting all these planets in 7th house. Over and above that, this moon is in Saturn star, and Dasha of the Saturn is running at the time of this Muhurta, which is Saturn Dasha and Saturn Bhukti. So Saturn is the lord of 11 and 12 years, and it is not auspicious, and we cannot affect good results for this thing. Then further, if you just go through the transit strength of the moon, sun and Jupiter, Janma Rashi of May in this house, the Midna, and that of Kumbha. If you see the personal charts of this both bridegroom and bride, bridegroom is Janma sign is Midna, and female is Kumbha, Aquarius and Gemini. The moon was transiting in favorable position, that is 6th from natal moon of the male person, bridegroom, and 10th from natal moon of female person. Although moon otherwise is debilitated and is placed very close to sun, that is the Krishna Chaturdashi, only one day before the Amavasya. Jupiter is also transiting in the debilitated Navamsha, and interestingly, Jupiter is the 7th lord for both male and female in their natal charts, and was also the lord of 10th house in the Muhurta Lagna. So, like defining unfavorable influences led to unfavorable results in this case. This is a case of disturbed marriage in which the tension started immediately after marriage, leading to separation. They got problems immediately after marriage, and they have been separated themselves, and finally they have taken divorce. This is a case of very clear and bad auspicious muhurta, and thus we can conclude muhurta, auspicious muhurta is very much required for the marriages, at least to atone, to condone the factors provided in the natal chart to large extent. Then we'll consider second case, second example. Of Vajpayee, former Prime Minister. Vajpayee. This is the first BJP government, first government at Delhi. The relevant question is how bad the muhurta is there to make a big record for the Prime Minister, the then Prime Minister Vajpayee, for the shortest time of all the Prime Ministers of India. This is a part of Vajpayee sharing ceremony. This is on 16th May 1996 at 12:05 p.m. in Delhi, that is integrated Delhi. Hardly he was the Prime Minister at that time, only for 2 days. Why this has happened? Let us examine. Then the Lagna is in Leo. Lagna is Leo. So the people who have selected this muhurta must have been felt Lagna is a fixed sign and Lagna is Leo. And date is 16:05 and time is 12 hours 5 minutes at Delhi, that is on Thursday. Here also, Rikta Tithi, Krishna Chaturdashi, that is called Rikta Tithi. Yoga is Saubhagya and Karmas are Shikuni. So here, then what is its results? Why this Panchanga variable shows this is one of the most malefic Rikta warming Mritu Yoga in combination with Thursday. When Krishna Chaturdashi joins Thursday, it will be Mritu Yoga, highly malefic. And further, Nakshatra is highly malefic. Nakshatra is Bharani, is highly malefic, and it is also called Ugra. Ugra Nakshatra or Sura Nakshatra or Jaganya Nakshatra. And Bharani is ruled by Yama. Bharani is ruled by Lord Yama, Lord of Death. So this Nakshatra Bharani itself is very, very, very bad. I do not know how they have selected, and deliberately somebody has made a mistake and they have done it, they must have done it. On the day of vote, taking Bharani was occupied by malefic Mars. Further, this is one more thing, is Mars is occupying the Bharani also. Aries, Bharani is, Mars is 16 degrees 22 minutes and Moon is 17 degrees 40 minutes. Both are in Bharani star, Yama Nakshatra. And which adds to its disqualifications. Muhurta is disqualified over. Moreover, Thursday and Bharani together also from an Alpha yoga called Padma Yoga. As an 18th Janma Nakshatra is Jyeshtha, Vajpayee was born in Janma Jyeshtha star. Bharani will become a Vipat Tara. Tara is also not good. It's a very bad star. A bad Tara, Bharani is native. Out of the other Panchana variables, Yoga was benefic and Karma was malefic. It was almost a bad day, imposed by destiny for a good person like Vajpayee with swearing and ceremony. If this Lagna is fixed, seed Shodaya, Lagna is here, fixed in seed Shodaya, of a Rashi falling in 10th house from natal Lagna and natal moon of the native. Of course, these are the positive factors. 10th house from natal Lagna and natal moon is positive, but Lagna here is placed in Gandanta. Just after Cancer, it is in the beginning of the Leo. It is the first part of the Leo, 1 degree 30 minutes. So it is called the Gandanta Nakshatra, Gandanta Pada. And is suffering Veda from Mars and also moon in Saptashala Chakra. Saptashala Chakra, if you check up this, both Mars and moon are in the Veda place. Lagna Lord is strongly placed in 10th house, but is affected by Saturn, 6th and 7th Lord, 8th Lord, from 8th house. Moreover, Lagna Lord is placed in the inimical sign in the D1, D9 and D10 charts. So here also, Lagna Lord Sun is in Venus house, that is Taurus. Venus is the enemy for Sun. Here also, this relationship is very bad. Placement is in opposite house. So, there is affliction to the 10th house by Saturn from the 8th house. Saturn is placed in Pisces and placed in the 8th house, and he is affecting third aspect to the Sun. That is the 10th Lord. 10th Lord is Mars. So, 10th Lord has got no connection with Lagna or Lagna Lord. 10th Lord has become a separate entity. He is not at all connected to either Lagna or the Lagna house. So, 4th Lord representing Simhasana or chair is placed with 12th Lord. 4th Lord is in conjunction with 12th Lord. Moon is in 9th house and moon is in Papakattara Yoga. Mars is in behind and also Mercury, Sun are before. Sun is before. So this is Papakattara Yoga and is under the influence of two retrograde planets. Mercury is retrograde here and also Jupiter is aspecting the fifth aspect and Jupiter is in retrograde. So Jupiter is connected, Mercury is in Papakattara Yoga, retrograde planets are there. All these are bad influences with no benefits in Kendras, two malefics in the 8th house, and badly afflicted moon. The shadow of events to come in future was very, very clear for the Vajpayee government, which it had swearing in on 16th May 1996. At that time, the Dasha is also Venus Dasha, Mars, Mukti, Jupiter Lord. And the Mars Dasha Lord is of 12th Lord was good, and the Mukti Lord is afflicted by Mars, it was not powerful, and the 5th Lord and 8th Lord, Jupiter is retrograde. 5th house cannot be called favorable. 5th house should not be treated as favorable. Similarly, and horoscopes, which also do not give a false indication for the activity commencing at that time. This is very dangerous, and the Vajpayee government has to come to get down within few days of swearing in from that time. In KP also, the relevance of Muhurta can be seen in terms self-created short-term, in terms of self-created short-term destiny applicable to specific aspect of life, which will have its say, provided it is put in harmony with the individual's long-term destiny that has been promised in the natal chart. An important factor to remember is that from the selected muhurta available during that particular day, the time of rising lagna, which constantly changes every 2 or 1 hours, choose the muhurta when Saturn does not occupy or is not connected in any way to its star lord or sublord. Saturn should not be in the picture at all for any muhurta. If Saturn is the sign lord or star lord or sublord or aspects lagna or lagna lord or moon, that will give a bad feeling, a bad muhurta, and it gives the bad results. Here for this swearing in Sapni, lagna and the 10th lord is most important. And the 7th house is the house pertaining to the people of the country. So association of Saturn here will create havoc and become hazels. So it is a problem, and this even in the KP system and the mode and the Vedic system, in all the systems there was a problem, and that problem could not be solved, and the ministry has to come down. This is the result of these 2 examples in this chart. And mainly we have to follow the Tajik astrology also. Tajik astrology also we have to take into consideration. Iktisal yoga in the Tajik between Lagnesha and Karyesha is more important. If that is there, we can save the muhurta to some extent. Then Dasha Bhukti lords should be properly considered. If Dasha Bhukti is good results, and if it is not connected with Saturn anyway, then Dasha Bhukti will be useful. Then afterwards, the use of Tajik yogas should also be considered. This is the way, this way we have to check the muhurta. Then finally, how to fix the muhurta? How to fix a muhurta? This is one important thing. Muhurta, if a person tries to find a moment which satisfies all the conditions laid down in the classical books or the information what we are going to discuss in these classes, you will definitely feel like a blind man if you sit all in a dark room for a black cat which is not there. It was not the intention of those acharyas. That is why they have given alternatives always for certain places. They have considered the relative importance of different variables of muhurta. If any client comes and asks for fixing muhurta, first of all we have to find out how much time we can give, how many months time is there. Then we can fix the muhurta. If he is having 2-3 months time, or if we can give 1 month time, more than 1 month time, then we can follow certain procedure. If he gives only 2 days time, there is another possibility. Finally, if he gives only 2 days, my daughter has come from US and the marriage has to be fixed either Sunday or Monday, then it is another procedure we have to follow. Anyhow, we will not get the auspicious muhurta properly. That's why we have to check the muhurta if we got sufficient time. The first step is we have to check up the how many months time is there, how many weeks time is there, what is the range of muhurta we can get. Then next we have to check up 4, 8, 12 position of the moon from the natal moon of the person, which are malefic. First of all, we have to remove those days where there is a transit moon of the day 4, 8, 12 from the natal moon will be removed. Then half of the days will go in a month. So finally, we have to check up the Panchanga, 5 limbs of the Panchanga. That is Sudhivara Nakshatra, Dinavara Nakshatra, Yoga. All these things we have to check up and we have to fix the Muhurta when they are in good places. Finally, if all the Sudhivara Nakshatra Yoga are not good, at least we have to fix more importance, we have to give more importance to number 4, Tithi Nakshatra. Tithi Nakshatra is more important, and further if 2 or 3 are favorable, then we can try to fix them with some kind of remedies. If benefit like Amrit Siddhi Yoga, Pravata Siddhi Yoga is present, then we can fix up the Muhurta accordingly. Lagna Shuddhi is most recommended. Like without Lagna Shuddhi, we should not go for marriages or any other event that is to be fulfilled. Then afterwards, in Vedic astrology, proper Navamsha is to be chosen, and Dasha beginning should be taken consideration. If Dasha Bhukti is favorable to Lagna, and also the concerned house, relevant house, if marriage means 7th house, job means 10th house, like that, and tragic aspects are also good, then we can fix the Muhurta. If time is inadequate, then we have to see some other procedure laid down as Muhurta laws for each part of the nakshatras. That also to be seen. If that is also time is not there, we have to check up the hora of the particular day and particular time. Chandra Shuddhi and Tara Shuddhi to be more important in the moon's transit and the moon's placement by own sign or friendly sign or in strong Navamsha or strong in Ashtaravardhan, that should be considered. Is very adequate. Like that, marriage Muhurta should be fixed according depending upon the time given by the client for fixing the Muhurta to the astrologer. But finally, I can conclude that Muhurta is more important for any activity in the human life, and we have to consider the sun moon position along with all the other planets' positions. If anything is destined in the natal chart, we should concentrate on the auspiciousness of the Muhurta for the particular activity, and we should make use of auspicious Muhurtas to get the improved results from the natal chart. Idam Sri Gurumurte Dakshinamurte Namaha.